Craig, the 15-game win streak has been amazing, but it's not just this run. Since Chris Knoblauch took over behind the bench, the Oilers have won 25 of 31 games. Has McDavid gone from a non-playoff team to his best shot at a Stanley Cup in a span of just 2 months?
I don't think there's any question about that. And, you know, the way the season started, even at 5-12-1, you know, the playoffs look like a long shot. But when you get on the heater that the Edmonton Oilers find themselves on, that's how you rise up in the standings. It's no longer about the playoffs and making them and seeing what happens. It's about getting home ice in the first round of the playoffs and being a serious contender for the Stanley Cup. And I see them as that. I didn't see them as that before under Jay Woodcroft. But under Chris Knoblauch and Paul Coffey, this is an excellent defensive team. This is a team, 13 straight games, 2 or less goals. You look at all their defensive tricks, just outstanding with respect, playing with defensive discipline, with defensive structure, with defensive commitment, and with defensive competitiveness. That's what it takes to win in the playoffs. And this team has clearly shown me that. And on Wayne Gretzky's birthday, there's no better person to refer to him. And he talked about the team in Edmonton, his teams, saying, hey, when we get to the playoffs, we're going to have to be a lot better. I can take some risks in the regular season. I can take some chances. I can hang high. But come playoff time, I got to be committed to defense, just like every other player on our team. Well, that's what the Edmonton Oilers did en route to winning those 4 Stanley Cups in 5 years. And that's where the Edmonton Oilers find themselves, the way they play under Chris Knoblauch. It's been outstanding. There's every reason to believe that this is Connor McDavid's best chance to compete for the Stanley Cup, the only trophy that's not in his trophy case.
Happy birthday, number 99. All right, so you mentioned Knoblauch behind the bench. McDavid, 22 points in the 15-game streak. Hyman, 11 goals over that stretch. Skinner, the best GAA and save percentage since they last lost. Who deserves the most credit for the Oilers' turnaround?
Chris Knoblauch. There's no question who deserves the most credit. He came in and instilled a plan of defensive commitment. And it's one thing to instill a plan, but the players have executed on it. And we can talk about their start and then the coaching change and having the pinch between the shoulder blades. But the bottom line is, when you watch them play, offense was never a problem for the Edmonton Oilers. Even when they weren't scoring, the process was outstanding. Defensive play was a massive issue. And what Chris Knoblauch and Paul Coffey have done is they've come in and emphasized, listen, don't worry about the offense. We don't have to chase offense. That will be there because we have a lot of offensively gifted players. Now let's commit to defense. I watch the Edmonton Oilers now. They squeeze teams defensively. They don't create vulnerabilities. They were a team that gave up rush chance after rush chance, turnover after turnover, and it exposed their goaltending. They don't do that anymore. And that has allowed Stuart Skinner to emerge and get back to the level we've seen him in the past. And that's what's allowed the Edmonton Oilers to be a top team and 23-3 in their last 26 games.
A lot of people out there saying, I knew this was going to happen. Well, had you bet $20 on FanDuel, the Oilers were going to beat the Devils on the night the streak began back on December 21st. And if you kept letting it ride during that streak, that $20 would now be worth over $8,700.